on Detective Footprints, we are talking about Jamie Stickler. They still do not know who took her life. It has been a mystery that has haunted her family, friends, and veteran homicide detectives for 23 years. Jamie's body was found in her Jeep, which had been set on fire outside her apartment on the north side on February 8th of 2002 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They said she wasn't shot, she wasn't stabbed, but there was a lot of blood, and then they said that she was burned so bad they couldn't tell if it was a fractured skull or exactly what it was, says Jamie's mother, Marge Walls. Joe Myers was one of the detectives who investigated Jamie's murder. He has since retired from the Pittsburgh police and now works with Carnegie Mellon University Police. But he says Jamie's death has never left him. I thought about it many, many times. My only hope is that she was unconscious and died before she could wake up and feel the pain. Jamie was a popular bartender in Pittsburgh gay community. Those who knew her say the manner of her death was so inconsistent with how she lived her life. Friends and co-workers say she was jovial, charitable, and highly regarded in the community. They say nobody would have wished any kind of violence on Jamie. But clearly that was not the case on the night she died. After leaving her job at Sidekicks in downtown Pittsburgh, Jamie headed for Pegasus and then on to Liberty Saloon. But she was turned away when she tried to go to the after-hours club upstairs due to intoxication. So she headed for her car to go home, which was parked tightly in Field's parking lot. Sidekick's owner Scott happened by. She was sort of stuck in, and it was like, okay, back up left and right. I got her out of the lot, and we waved. And I said, I'll see you tomorrow. But a little more than an hour later, firefighters were trying to douse Jamie's burning Jeep in the lot behind Warholler Scrapyard near the Heinz plant. Jamie lived in an apartment upstairs. Detective Myers says there was evidence that she had initially been assaulted at the front door of her apartment. We had her blood on the door itself. We had several strands of her hair and some objects that she had in her hand. We're assuming she had in her hand. We were found on the doorstop. It appears she got out of her truck. She was able to make it to the door and was trying to get into her apartment and was assaulted at the door. In addition to the door, detectives also found blood on the pavement and on the Jeep's door handle. There was evidence that she had been dragged, probably unconscious, from the initial point of the assault at the front door back to the Jeep and placed in the Jeep and was still alive when the Jeep was set on fire. The fire was so consuming that the first responders didn't realize Jamie was in the car until the flames were out. The medical examiner didn't have much to work with. They declared because of the condition of her body after the fire, they were unable to say it was a homicide. It was ruled as undetermined. Jamie and her longtime girlfriend were coming out of a turbulent breakup. Jamie's ex was one of the first people police questioned. She was with her parents. She was able to account for her whereabouts, and she was pretty quickly eliminated as a suspect. But try as they might, no other solid suspect was emerging. And as time passed, angst in the gay community rose. Money was raised for a reward to solve Jamie's murder, which remains unclaimed today. And then rumors started to swirl. I believe she was targeted. There was someone there waiting for her, said the former local bar owner, Chuck. A theory detective Myers thinks might be right on target. My personal theory is that there was someone within the gay community that Jamie had a problem with, and there was some, we'll call it outside, or out of the area, people who were brought in to assault Jamie. In other words, Detective Myers thinks Jamie's murder was a hired hit. But whoever did it left no evidence behind to connect them to the crime. So here we are, 23 years later. Police wait for someone to either slip up and talk, or for someone to have the courage to come forward. A hope shared by Jamie's mom, Marge. I just miss her so much, and I go to her grave almost every day and talk to her. I just wish that whoever did this will come forward with some kind of information, because every day it goes through my mind of how she died. Let's hope that one day her family will get justice for her. And whoever took her life, if they haven't passed away yet, that they will go to prison.
Right now, it appears they're a long way from solving this mystery.
From the very beginning, the death of popular local bartender Jamie Stickler baffled her family, her friends, and veteran homicide detectives.
Jamie died February 8th of 2002.
Days turned into weeks, months, years, and still.
The circumstances around her death remain a mystery.
And now, 17 years later, police are still trying to figure out who killed Jamie Stickler and why.
Tonight, we're reopening the files, uncovering new clues from people who knew Jamie and one of the lead detectives in the original investigation.
Here's John Shumway with KDK Mysteries, the unsolved murder of Jamie Stickler.
On this windswept Uniontown hilltop, Jamie Lynn Stickle's smiling face adorns her headstone within sight of what locals call the Patch, where she grew up and her mother and family still live.
She was my best friend. She was beautiful from the inside out. And we just did everything together.
She's one of the moms of homicide victims that always stayed in touch with me.
A grieving mom and a seasoned homicide detective are both haunted by how Jamie Stickle's life came to an end in the inferno of her Jeep.
I've thought about it many, many times, and my only hope was that she was unconscious and died before she was able to wake up and feel the pain.
They said she wasn't shot, she wasn't stabbed, but there was a lot of blood. And then they said that she was burnt so bad that they couldn't tell if it was a fractured skull or exactly what it was.
Margie Walls shared her thoughts about her daughter's death with David Highfield on the 3rd anniversary of Jamie's death. Now she finds it too difficult to relive. Retired Pittsburgh Police Detective Joe Myers has moved on to the CMU police force, but Jamie's death has never left him.
Spent months and months just in the gay community where Jamie lived and worked and played and thrived, trying to get some leads, and generated very, very little information.
Those who knew her say the manner of her death was so inconsistent with how she lived her life.
A jovial person, always cracking jokes, always fun to be around.
A bartender in the gay bars of Pittsburgh.
She was pretty highly regarded within the community.
Whatever the charity was, she was there. In all my years in the bar business, I never knew anyone that could raise money like she could, so quickly and so easily.
Nobody would have wished any kind of violence on Jamie.
But that clearly was not the case on February 8th, 2002. After leaving her job at Sidekicks, she headed for the now defunct Pegasus, then on to the Liberty Saloon, but was turned away when she tried to go to the after-hours club upstairs due to intoxication.
Jamie had her demons,
which Detective Myers identified as alcohol. So she headed for her car to go home, which was parked tightly in Phil's parking lot. Sidekick's owner, Scott Noxon, happened by.
She was sort of stuck in and was like, okay, back up, this way, left, right. And I got her out of the lot. We waved, see you tomorrow.
But a little more than an hour later, firefighters were trying to douse her burning Jeep in the lot behind Warhola's scrapyard near the Heinz plant. Jamie and her girlfriend lived in an apartment upstairs.
There was evidence that she had initially been assaulted at the front door of her apartment.
Forensic evidence.
We had her blood on the door itself. We had several strands of her hair. Some objects that she had in her hand, we assuming she had her hand, were found at the doorstep. So it appears that she got out of her truck, was able to make it to the door, was trying to get into her apartment, and was assaulted at the door.
In addition to the door, detectives also found blood on the pavement and on the Jeep's door handle.
There was evidence that she had been dragged, probably unconscious, from the initial point of the assault at the front door back to the Jeep and placed in the Jeep, and was still alive when the Jeep was set afire.
The fire so consuming, First responders didn't even realize that Jamie was in the car until the flames were out. The medical examiner didn't have much to work with.
They declared because of the condition of her body after the fire, they were unable to say that it was a homicide. It was ruled as undetermined.
I just feel in my heart that it was a homicide.
And that's how the police continue their investigation. Jamie and her longtime girlfriend were coming out of a turbulent breakup, and her ex had moved out.
She was with her parents.
Good alibi?
I would call it an alibi. She was able to account for her whereabouts, and she was pretty quickly eliminated as a suspect.
But try as they might, no other solid suspect was emerging. And as time passed, angst in the gay community rose.
A lot of people pass away, but most people don't get burned in their car. It's so frustrating.
Money was raised for a reward, which remains unclaimed today, and rumors swirled.
I believe that she was targeted. There was someone there waiting for her.
A theory Detective Myers thinks might be right on target.
My personal theory is that there was someone within the gay community that she had a problem with, and there was some, we'll call it outside or out of the area, people brought in to assault Jamie.
So you're comfortable with the term, this may have been a hit?
Pretty much, yes.
Whoever did it left no evidence behind.
And we don't know who that is.
So 17 years later, police wait for someone to slip up and talk, or for someone
to have the courage to come forward and say, here's what I saw, here's what I know.
A hope shared by Jamie's mom.
I just miss her so much, you know, and I go to her grave almost every day and talk to her. And I just wish that whoever did this, you know, would come forward with some kind of information, because every day it goes through my mind of how she died.
Now, Detective Joe Myers, now Lieutenant Myers, says through their investigation, they learned that the gay community is like a small town where everyone knows everyone and everyone knows everyone else's business. And because there is such a void of any tangible evidence, they believe whoever did this indeed came from out of town. Now, I have to tell you, I heard a lot of unsubstantiated rumors about this, that a hit person came from Ohio or 2 hit people came from Italy. But there has never been any evidence to substantiate that. And as we said in the report, there was no evidence left at the scene of anybody else.
For those who think that there may have been a hit involved in this whole thing, do they have a motive for such a hit job?
No, and that's part of the problem. They don't know who may have asked for it or who may have pulled it off. Those are the things that they hope, or why.
Yeah.
Or why at this point. And they just wait.
And so now the case is just considered open.
Open and ongoing, according to Pittsburgh Police.
You never know. A lot of these now cold cases, years and years later
Right.
down the road, they do find out.
An attack of conscience is what they're hoping for.